From Dover Motor Speedway in the first state, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series is ready to go door handle to door handle at the Monster Mile. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Independence Racing Network. After a nail-biter last week at Talladega, Mike Wright picked up his second win of this season and secured sole possession of the top slot in Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series point standings. Miles the Monster is ready to attack these drivers, and these drivers are ready to attack the Monster Mile. So grab some popcorn, call your friends, and settle in. I'm Dave Regal, and I will be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag on the Independence Racing Network, sponsored by Northeastern Fire and Air. And folks, we have had quite a week of racing here at Dover Motor Speedway in Delaware. And I'll tell you what, things definitely heating up here tonight, which is no different than anything else that we've seen so far. And, you know, I got to be honest with you. We're at a stage in this season where Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series is going to be tight. I mean, real tight. Right now we're looking at Matthew Helm in the number 25 Toyota Supra turning his second lap here, finishing it up here for what looks like an 11th place qualifying effort. Right now atop the leaderboard is your points leader, Mike Wright. Dakota Cave, a fan favorite every week in the YouTube.com chat, is right now sitting P2. Grant T. Thompson looks like he has put together a sixth-position qualifying effort here in the number 14 Toyota Supra. So things heating up, as we're going to take a look here at Chad Sanner in the number 59 Chevrolet on his qualifying effort here. As we can see right now, Chad riding the high line on this first lap. Looks like he is just working on getting those tires nice and hot. As, you know, to be completely honest, I get it. I do. You don't want to go out there on cold tires and wind up spinning, especially on exit, which was such a problem last night in the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series over on Sim Racing Media and ESPN. So, folks, glad to have you in with us here. If you're just tuning in on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, and give us a shout. Let us know who you're pulling for and, you know, who you'd like to see do well tonight, as Chad Sanner in the number 59 Chevrolet nets himself a P9 performance here, as Matt Mackin in the 01 has jumped up to 11th on the standings. And, you know, we're going to watch him finish out here. Chris Claude, your Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series commissioner, on his qualifying effort, ready to do lap number 2, as we can see him working not necessarily the low line here, but just about the midline, as he makes a late apex there into the bottom of turn 2 on his entry. And now going into 3, we see him hanging high and not really getting low. So I'm betting that Chris Claude has found some kind of magic here as he crosses the start-finish line and nets himself 8th position so far on our leaderboard. Right now, only about 4 drivers have not gone out and put a qualifying effort in, as right now Corey Burkett in the number 13 Blue Oval Ford Mustang in 25th position right now. Taking a look at Timmy Trowbridge in the number 74 Ford, as he is out here, one of our Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series regulars, making sure that he is getting it done. And so far on this first lap, looks like he is definitely taking the low line. Glad to have you folks in with us. Rebecca Miller pulling for the number 2, driven by Dakota Cave. That's Dakota's mama. And she is out here every week with Dakota, cheering him on week after week. And speaking of cheering someone on, Timmy Trowbridge just came all the way up here to snag the pole right out of Mike Wright's clutches as he beats Mike Wright out by 1,000th of a second. I'm sorry, 100th of a second, as Mike Wright had laid down a 22.82, and Tim Trowbridge by 22.81 lays that down. Piper Bain also in our YouTube live chat giving a shout out to Dakota. We'll get him some screen time coming up here once he is back out on track and we get ready to be underway. Just 3 cars have not turned in qualifying efforts in Justin Steves, Zachary Vaughn, and Michael Overstreet. Of course, Justin Steves and Zachary Vaughn, if I understand correctly, they are on Stage 1 Racing, that team headed up by Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series Commissioner Bob Nestor. And definitely a developmental team as they are new to the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series scene. But Bob Nestor making sure that we're taking as much as we possibly can, with these guys coming into the league, taking our time with them, helping to bring them along, especially on their way to the Cup Series, which, of course, is our premier series. But right now, taking a look at Tim Trowbridge in his number 74 Ford Mustang that just laid down a 22.81 second lap. And hi, Rebecca Miller. Glad to have you in with us, as always. I feel like I kind of have these people to hang out with now every Monday night, so it's good to have them here with us as we're taking a look at Corey Burkett, who just seems to be sitting in the middle of a turn and not really sure why. And, folks, we will get around to talking about it, but glad to be here at Dover Motor Speedway. Actually, a couple of drivers and your broadcaster tonight, myself. In fact, let me see here. Does not look like – there he is. John Bawalda III, driver of the number 51 Chevrolet, myself, and Commissioner Bob Nestor took a pilgrimage to Dover together. So Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series, Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks, and Sunday Night NASCAR's Cup Series, as well as Sim Racing Media and the Independence Racing Network, all well represented at Dover Motor Speedway. As you're looking right here on your camera, we were just to the upside of the start-finish line there, about 30 rows up. Perfect seats, perfect day on Saturday for the Xfinity race, and we got to do that together, which was super cool as a group to be able to do that and get to spend some time together. And just before we get started, as we have about 1 minute left in qualifying, we are going to hear from our good friends over at Butt Kicker.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Folks, welcome back to Dover Motor Speedway as we're getting ready to turn 200 laps. Now, there's going to be, 3 stages here. Of course, that's going to be 45 laps for stage 1, another 45 laps concluding at lap number 90 for stage 2, and then, of course, 110 laps to the end here. And we're going to get you set up for the start of this race as Tim Trowbridge, your pole sitter, going to sit atop the pile. Taking a look here at your starting grid as they are all getting lined up and ready to rock and roll. Tim Trowbridge on the inside of row 1 with Mike Wright on the outside of row 1. Row 2 is Dakota Cave and that number 2 Toyota Supra being cheered on by Rebecca Miller. And row on the outside of row 2 is going to be Jarrett Phillips in the number 87 Chevrolet. Row 3 is Kavaja Holt and Bobby Blazer running second position right now in your season standings. Grant T. Thompson and Aaron Mack make up row 4. Row 5, Chris Claude and Carlos Ramos. Row 6, Chad Sanner and Matt Mackin. Row 7, Zac Osborne and Josh Ward. Row 8, Ian Humphreys and Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Commissioner Bob Nestor. Bennett Allen and Chris Gore make up row 9. Row 10, Matthew Holman and Joey Savage. Row 11, Brad Gunn and Doug Argabright. Row 12, Jeff Carson and John Bawalda III, your Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series Commissioner. Alexander Gangler, your Sunday Night NASCAR Race Controller, rolling off on the inside of row 13 with J.B. Banner on his outside. Jackson Derby and Michael Overstreet in row 14. Zachary Vaughn and Justin Steves in row 15. And running out the rear here in 31st is going to be Corey Burkett. And folks, we are excited to have all of you in with us tonight on Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series coverage here on the Independence Racing Network, brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air. Glad to be with you tonight as we are getting ready to be underway here, as we have extended the pre-race parade lap by one, of course, to make sure that everybody who has to serve EOL penalties and things like that can get all of that figured out and ready to rock and roll, as this racetrack just so awesome to see, here on iRacing. And, I have to tell you, for those of you that don't know what it's like to be both at the physical track and here at the virtual track, it is so close to identical, it's scary. I mean, to be here watching all of these cars parade around the field, it looks exactly like it should, for lack of a better term. Of course, here on iRacing, maybe a bit of a bigger crowd than we had on Saturday in person, but still nonetheless very exciting. As the cars here make their way down through the back stretch, we're taking a look here at the field moving down the back stretch. That iRacing.com pace car getting ready with its lights off to dive down pit road. That man in the stand has the green flag in his hand, and he's going to wave it wildly. Grab some popcorn, call a friend, because we are about to be green flag racing at Dover Motor Speedway in Delaware. Mike Wright and Tim Trowbridge going at it hammer and tongs right now, as Bob Nestor working the outside of Chris Claude in the number 10 Dasani Toyota Supra. Looks like Bob Nestor ready to overtake him pretty easily, as Tim Trowbridge now is behind Dakota Cave, running in third position right now. And here right in the middle of your screen, the 14 car driven by Grant T. Thompson, working to try to chase down Jarrett Phillips in that number 87 Chevrolet. Folks, this is one of those tracks where, as we're looking at the field, we can see that this is going to get real tight real fast, as all of these cars have gotten themselves strung out in single file very well. And something to be noted, of course, here with the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, these drivers are incredibly clean overall. Even last night in the Cup Series, it was noted earlier that all of the cautions were caused by self-spins, guys just getting it loose, on exit. And, that being said, it shows that these drivers are being developed properly. Of course, we talked about Stage 1 racing, headed up by Bob Nestor, your Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series commissioner. And taking a look in our YouTube Live, we see the 87 of Jarrett Phillips getting ready to work Kavaja Holt here, battling it out for 5th position, trying to gain a couple of spots here as we are on lap 6 of 200, marching our way toward lap number 45 at Dover Motor Speedway. Looks like there's almost a little bit of caution as we don't see any 3-wide action, but it's enough to get Kavaja to back off and now be side by side with Grant Thompson. Kavaja still working the outside on Grant Thompson, looking to try to get back into single file so he can regain a little bit of momentum just ahead of your second place in standings, Bobby Blazer. Bobby Blazer only 59 points out of the lead, chasing down Kavaja Holt now, and of course Grant T. Thompson. These drivers working at it hammer and tongs early on, but still able to keep things together in quite a fashion. And we see the 90 of Blazer working the inside of Kavaja Holt, one of the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series regulars. And, of course, he drives in the other 2 series as well, broadcast over on Sim Racing Media and ESPN on a Sunday for Cup Series, and the Performance Motor Network carrying the Tuesday Night Thunder trucks, of course, as mentioned, on Tuesday. And, folks, if you are just joining us, I'm Dave Regal here with the Independence Racing Network, brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air. The Monday Night NASCAR Series is brought to you by RS Button Boxes and Butt Kicker. Glad to have you in with us tonight on YouTube, as looks like Piper Bain is cheering on for Dakota Cave. And once again, Rebecca Miller in here giving a shout-out to Dakota Cave. Jack Dow Motorsports, of course, primary sponsor of the number 51 car of John Bawalden III, saying, let's go have some fun. And Rebecca Miller, again, calling out for Dakota Cave, as we have several people watching us live on YouTube. Glad to have you with us. Right now, your race leader is also your points leader, Mike Wright, followed by Tim Trowbridge, who had backed down to 3rd position, managed to get back around Dakota and into 3rd place. We see Dakota Cave right here on your screen driving that number 2 machine. And I got to be honest with you, Dakota every week has managed to just be the driver. You know, the Fishersville native, of course, out here, one to beat as he comes into the NASCAR Xfinity Series here on Monday nights. A relative newcomer to the family of Sunday Night NASCAR racing, and just immediately lights it up. And speaking of lighting it up, looks like Jarrett Phillips was ready to light up Dakota as he steals away 3rd position. So anyway, Dakota Cave, just one of these drivers that I'm really impressed with week in and week out, as he has come in and just turned some heads here, and some very important heads, as he is going to make quite an impact on the rest of the series moving forward. Getting a little dicey here is the number 25, the 91, chasing down Brad Gunn, Matthew Helm, and Jeff Carson, as the battle for 21st getting a little hot and heavy here early on. I mean, 15 laps of 200 complete, working our way toward lap 45. So about a third of stage 1 complete now. And it looks like the 25 wanted to come down and see what was going on here. Can't say that that's real recommended here. We're going to take a look back and see exactly what just happened. And we see the 25 of Matthew Helm coming down the backstretch, getting a little loose, popping out of line, but managing to keep it together. You know, it's always important when we're trying to make sure that these drivers aren't taking each other out. You know, that, hey, listen, so you get a little loose, you get a little sideways, but fortunately enough, No harm, no foul as Brad Gunn now working the inside. Trying to chase down the 25. The 25 seems loose. And I'll tell you what, we're going to keep it right there on the 25 because something tells me bad things are about to happen as everybody around him seems to be getting loose. I don't know if it's bad air coming off that rear deck lid or what the issue might be as he has now been pushed to the outside as perhaps the car is just so loose that he's almost more dangerous than safe out here on the racetrack. The 25, of course, driven by Matthew Helm. And that Toyota Supra running right now in 23rd position. Watching Chad Sanner chase down Aaron Mack in the number 31 Toyota Supra. Looks like Sanner leading Bob Nestor here just a little as right now Aaron Mack in the 31 running 10th, Sanner in 11th, and Nestor 12th. As now it looks like Sanner looking to the inside, almost had Nestor 3 wide as they are side by side crossing the start-finish line. Sanner bringing along the 0-2 of Joey Savachki. Well, I'm going to have to get with Joey in the 0-2 Toyota Supra as I'm not sure how badly I just butchered his last name. Savatki? I'm going to go with Savatki. But the 0-2 of Joey Savatki working now behind Aaron Mack. These drivers battling it out right now for 10th, 11th, and 12th. Kind of an interesting battle here this far back, but 23 laps of 200 working our way to 45 laps. We are going to step aside and pay some bills from our good friends over at Northeastern Fire and Air. In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have, breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today and know that you...
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
And folks, welcome back to Dover Motor Speedway in Delaware here in the Mid-Atlantic region of the United States. This is the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series brought to you by RS Button Boxes and, of course, as you just heard, Butt Kicker, the Independence Racing Network brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air. You can check all these folks out online. Of course, you know, here in the iRacing community, Butt Kicker and RS Button Boxes synonymous with competition and excitement here. As, you know, so many of these people, let's talk about RS, but, well, we'll talk for just a moment about the Butt Kicker. I mean, look, the Butt Kicker is basically a transducer. It sits under your seat as a gamer, and, you know, here in iRacing, you can program it for, basically, you can hear your RPMs, you can feel your RPMs, you can feel the wheel slippage, you can feel, you know, different things with your car through the Butt Kicker. it's an absolutely awesome and versatile tool that you can attach to any racing rig, any seat whatsoever. So definitely worth a look to go over there to Butt Kicker. Check them out. And of course, RS Button Box is also a sponsor here on Monday Night NASCAR. And this season, the winner of Monday Night NASCAR will get a Butt Kicker and his choice of an RS Button Box iFlag or $100. Now, the interesting thing about the iFlag series item is it's basically a small light. It's an LED system that you're going to connect to your computer. It'll run through iRacing. It'll flash all of the different colors. It's just really cool. As it sounds like we just had a car wrecking on the front stretch. We're going to take a look here. And we are under caution on lap number 31 of 200, taking a look. And we'll see what's going on. And we see Nestor here as we're going to take a ride back. It looks like all kinds of things may have happened all at once here. So we'll ride along. Wow. That's impressive. We're going to see if we can slow this one down just a smidge. As it looks like Nestor here in the 29 sees the wreck happening in front of him. Manages to get by. Now, that's the 31 of Aaron Mack. Nestor and the 52 and what looked to be the 97 all managed to get by. The 97 goes into turn 1 just fine, but the 52 driven by, my goodness, just gets right into him. The 52, of course, driven by Zac Osborne. So, unfortunately, it looks like Zac Osborne, here he is just coming back into the series, getting himself good and rolling, takes out the league commissioner. That's really not the one that you want to get into. But overall, doesn't look like too much hurt with Nestor's. He is getting some repairs done, but here under caution shouldn't be too hard to overcome. Plus, with a stage break coming up in just under 15 laps, he should be able to make up a lot of that distance. As right now, your race leader, Bobby Blazer, sitting atop the pile. Bobby Blazer in the number 90 Ford Mustang, followed by Tim Trowbridge in the 74 Dakota Cave, Carlos Ramos, Chris Claude, and Ian Humphreys. That'll work. In 6th position, 7th is Michael Overstreet from Stage 1 Racing. J.B. Banner in the number 92 Chevrolet, running in 8th right now. Matthew Helm and Mike Wright rounding out your top 10. Matthew Helm, the last of the cars here in your top 9 that did not come down for pit service, as it looks like these drivers are going to be trying to stretch it out to the end of Stage 1. Looks like Mike Wright, Josh Ward, Grant Thompson, Joey Savacki, Matt Mack and Chad Sanner, all the way down through Bob Nestor and Zach Vaughn, all coming down for pit service on lap 32. We're currently on lap 34 of 200 here on Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series, brought to you live on the Independence Racing Network by Northeastern Fire and Air, Butt Kicker, and RS Button Boxes. Glad to have you in with us tonight. If you are tuning in on YouTube, make sure that you're turning on those bell notifications, subscribing to the Independence Racing Network, as IRN is the exclusive broadcast provider of Monday Night NASCAR. And, not to toot my own horn or anything, but if you like hanging out with me on a Monday night, you can also hang out with me on Tuesday nights alongside my partner in crime, Tony Trapasso, as we call the Western States Racing League over on ESPN here on YouTube at 10:15 Eastern. And then, of course, on a Wednesday, back by popular demand and by the grace of God, the Way She Goes Racing League coming back to ESPN. And you can hang out with me on a Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for the Way She Goes Racing League, as they had a little bit of a hiccup with sponsorships and support. They are back and better than ever, so we're glad to be back with them. Of course, Sunday Night NASCAR's Cup Series also brought to you on Sim Racing Media and ESPN. Sim Racing Media over on Facebook, ESPN here on YouTube, and Tuesday night NASCAR's Thunder Trucks on Performance Motor Network here on YouTube. But right now, Bobby Blazer is watching the man in the stand with that green flag as they get ready to enter the Geico restart zone, and we should see him take off right here. Whoa! Spins the tires a bit as Tim Trowbridge manages to keep that traction underneath him, and he works the outside of Bobby Blazer going into turn one, side by side, chased down by Dakota Cave, Rebecca Miller's favorite driver right here, as Trowbridge and Blazer duking it out, hammer and tongs here, with about 10 laps left in stage number one. Trowbridge, wow, coming down right in front of Dakota Cave. Looks like he wanted to try the crossover move behind Bobby Blazer. Blazer able to match that line with him tit for tat as we go into turn 1 and 2 yet again on lap 37, working our way to lap 45 here in stage one. Looks like Kavaja Holt has gotten sideways. We will take a look right now and under caution on lap 37. Taking a look at Kavaja Holt here going into the turn. Almost looks a little like net code. We're going to take a closer look as we see the 01 come up the track just a little. And although that they don't make physical contact, it does look, and we're going to switch over here to the 01 on that right front suspension. As we see on that right front suspension that they did not make contact, but unfortunately, Kavaja did wind up on the short end of the stick. Rebecca Miller saying in the YouTube live chat, come on, son, take it to the front. And he is working his way there, Rebecca, as he is currently in P3 where he started. Of course, fell back a little bit, does Dakota Cave. But Bobby Blazer sitting atop the pile right now of this piece, as we will have his info pulled up here in just a moment. There we go. And glad to have, of course, Bobby Blazer from York, Pennsylvania here sitting atop the pile, leading Tim Trowbridge, Dakota Cave, Carlos Ramos, Chris Cloud, your top five. As these drivers through Michael Overstreet, those top six have not come in for pit service. So it's going to be interesting to see Mike Wright and Grant Thompson and what they do here as we get ready to go back green flag racing in just a moment. Fans, if you're just tuning in, you're watching Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series here on the Independence Racing Network. As the cars in the field come out of Dover Turn 4 here in Dover, Delaware, just getting ready to turn those pace car lights off as we should be one back to green and getting ready to go green flag racing on lap 42 as we are now on lap 41. So when we come back around, we will be ready for green flag racing as the choose cone rule is in effect, and we'll get to that at some point tonight, I'm sure, as it seems like we have been bit a little bit by the caution bug. Not the end of the world, though, to be completely honest with you, as, you know, a lot of times it's just good to see these drivers out here being competitive and keeping it interesting as, you know, we're nearly through this first stage, as sometimes it feels like races can start to drag out, you know, even in the early stages. Fastest race time here at Dover Motor Speedway was when it was still Dover International Speedway, and that was set by, in 2013, on September 28th, by one Joey Logano. He was able to, with an average speed of 131 miles per hour, finish the race in 1.5 hours, which is, of course, a 200-miler. But right now, Bobby Blazer looking to get her done here, as we're ready to tighten up those safety belts and watch these cars go back green flag racing. Fans, get back to your seats and watch the battle here on lap 42 of 200 at Dover Motor Speedway. Bobby Blazer taking off with about 0.4 of a second over Tim Trowbridge and Dakota Cave. Dakota Cave and Trowbridge back here getting ready to go at it hammer and tongs, as Dakota being chased down by Carlos Ramos. And if I had to put money on it, and I certainly would as a spectator here, I'd say Dakota Cave able to keep off Carlos Ramos, but right now just behind them looks like Chris Claude trying to hold back Mike Wright here in 7th and 8th position, as it almost looks like Mike Wright and Josh Ward get together here in the number 1 Chevrolet, the number 38 Ford, as we are in the closing laps here of stage 1. Now it looks like Claude going to lift himself out of the way. Of course, that can affect his bonus points here at the end of the stage. Right now on the bubble for the bonus points is JB Banner, as he is now following Chris Claude. Chris Claude looks like he's got it pretty well secured there to be in 9th, as there is now a car spinning in the backstretch. Speaking of Carlos Ramos, we are under caution. This sounds like a big one. And we see Carlos Ramos here in the 97 coming out of turn 2. The 14 comes down and they bump into each other. It was almost like net code, but you can certainly see. And Chris Claude gets clobbered by the 97, pushed into the wall, and the 97 just spinning there like a top, trying to collect cars like a lawnmower blade. And it almost looks like, and we're going to take a little bit of a further look back here. We see the 3 car barreling out of turn 2, running down the backstretch, and he is going to just have to come to a darn near complete stop, as it looks like the entrance to a junkyard, as these cars are littered all over. Oh no, and the 3 car has to dive down behind Corey Burkert in the 13 car. I'll tell you what, that was some good avoidance there on the 3 car. And that'll bring us to the conclusion of stage number 1, as Josh Ward, Joey Savacki, Chad Sander, Jeff Carson, Zac Osborne, and Matt Mackin all up atop the pile. In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today, and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series action here on the Independence Racing Network. I'm Dave Regal here at the microphone, giving you the ones and twos, every camera angle, and the voice of Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series. So I'm a little busy tonight. However, Josh Ward also very busy, as he has not been into pit since lap number 32. Leading the pack here behind the pace cars, we are about to have our choose cone ceremony. Now, of course, the choose cone rule is where basically every driver gets to pick whether they go in the high side or the low side, so the inside lane or the outside lane, and that's based on your strategy, where feels most comfortable for you. Of course, some folks, they may feel more comfortable on the inside, like Josh Ward has, as he has clearly chosen the inside line. Of course, Joey Savatgy here in the 0-2 being on the outside. Jeff Carson on the outside in his number 9 Napa Auto Parts Toyota Supra. Then it looks like Bennett Allen also on the outside. It almost looks like everybody just kind of followed what iRacing told them tonight. But right now, just getting ready to go back green. Riding along here with Josh Ward as we get ready to take back off. We want to see how this master of the oval takes care of things, as that man in the stand, you see him down there in the flag stand, gets ready to wave it, and off takes Josh Ward. My goodness, what a good start he's got. Crosses the start-finish line and gets ready to dive down into turns 1 and 2. We see Josh Ward just being so smooth here as he works his way through the gears, gets himself rolling again here. And, we can even see he has opened up 0.6 of a second between himself and Mr. Chad Sanner, who, of course, is currently running in second. And now, just as I say that, looks like Bennett Allen ready to take over P2 in the 3 car. And we see back here Bobby Blazer working the inside of Zac Osborne. Blazer going up just to see if he can nudge him out of the way a little bit more. Being followed by the 14 car driven by Grant Thompson. Thompson now in front of Osborne. So right now it's going to go Blazer, Thompson, Osborne in this 4, 5, and 6 battle. Getting a good look here at Bob Nestor chasing down his teammate and Padawan learner Michael Overstreet in the number 39 car. These drivers getting ready to go after it. And sounds like turn 2's exit is starting to get a little slick here as we're moving back through the field. We can even see here the 82 that Alexander Gangler in that number 82 Taylor Swift Toyota Supra. I'll tell you what, you know what? Let's talk about the Taylor Swift mobile here for a minute, if we can. And we'll do our best to try to get a good view of it. Now, you know, we all like to have a little bit of fun, you know, with our paint schemes and so on and so forth, but Alexander has definitely done one heck of a job getting this done by one Tom McGee. As Tom McGee is a masterful paint artist on trading paints and GIMP here in the iRacing.com community. So, folks, if you want to have Taylor Swift on the side of your machine, make sure to reach out to Tom McGee, care of Sunday Night NASCAR and Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series here on the Independence Racing Network. Taking a look as Bob Nestor chasing down Michael Overstreet going into turn one. Looks like he gets a pretty good run on him. Nestor able to hold that bottom line, but Overstreet taking a little bit of a wider entrance into one as they are currently running 13th and 14th here, the teammates are, on Monday Night NASCAR. We are on lap number 58 of 200 here at Dover Motor Speedway. Of course, used to be called Dover International Speedway. Of course, that all changed in 2020 when very sorry, here we go. Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, of course, it's only been Dover Motor Speedway since 2020 when SMI bought the track. And, you know, this is a unique track that it has held at least one NASCAR race per season, you know, at least in the Cup Series, since 1959. Or, I'm sorry, each year since 1969. Then two per year from 1971 to 2020. And, of course, once SMI bought it and NASCAR had a little bit more control over it, you know, things changed. And you know what? Change is something that happens. It's not the end of the world. But, you know, of course, the big attraction here is Miles the Monster. And he is, of course, spawned from the track nickname, the Monster Mile, here in Dover, Delaware. And one of the other unique things about Dover Motor Speedway is it, of course, used to be a horse track too, of course, on the inside, what's basically where you can see here where the inside wall is, that gray area between the inside safer barrier and the infield itself. That is a horse track that was once, you know, actively used as Dover Downs Raceway, pretty much where those pickup trucks and things are parked there on the berm by Victory Lane. Then out in what would essentially be opposite of the start-finish line is Bally's Hotel and Casino. Of course, I guess if the race isn't exciting enough, you can always go over and gamble your money away at Bally's Casino. And just an excellent facility. I mean, very homey. You know, it definitely has some character. It's got good bones. You know, I got to say, as far as a building goes, it has good bones. I mean, you know, you walk in, you can feel that history just surrounding you here at Dover Motor Speedway. And, you know, we talk about history all the time on this broadcast. And I was just glad to be able to be part of it as Josh Berry from Junior Motorsports took home the checkered flag on Saturday afternoon. Of course, this afternoon's winner, another Chevrolet, Chase Elliott, brings home the checkered flag in the rain-delayed NASCAR Cup Series race action today. But speaking of action, Bennett Allen sitting atop the pile, followed by Josh Ward. We're going to run through the field here, folks. Grant Thompson in the 14 car running P3. Bobby Blazer in the number 90. Chad Sanner in 5th. Joey Savacki, Jeff Carson, Mike Wright, Dakota Cave, and Tim Trowbridge rounding out your top 10. Now, interestingly enough here, folks, Bennett Allen and Josh Ward atop the pile. Last came in on lap 32 for pit service. Then we have two cars that were in on lap 45. Then three cars, Chad Sanner, Joey Savacki, and Jeff Carson, all who came in on lap 32. And then another three cars who came in on lap 45. And then it gets really weird. Zac Osborne hasn't been in yet. Zac Osborne, unless iRacing timing and scoring is very wrong, Zac Osborne has not been in at all yet. I find that very hard to believe. But, oh no, he had to have been in. Interesting. Regardless, these drivers all out here doing battle, and Bennett Allen sitting atop the pile, chasing down the number 84 to put Justin Streets another lap down here on lap number 68 of 200. Folks, glad to have you in with us tonight. As, Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series is something to behold. I mean, these drivers week in and week out continue to impress me. I mean, we have, of course, we just had a little bit of a session here where, and Zac Osborne did pit on lap 32. So thank you, Tom McGee, working race control tonight. Appreciate you, brother. As it looks like SDK and iRacing timing and scoring didn't really want to update me properly. But these drivers so clean. And I mean, even as Bennett Allen gets around Justin Steves, I mean, Justin Steves respectfully gets out of the way because he knows that the leaders are just about to come through. So, that's something that is stressed so hard here at Monday Night NASCAR. I mean, making sure that you're going to be respectful. Nobody's putting up with your BS here in this league. And that's something that Bob Nestor has done from the beginning. And he's got a lot of respect from these drivers. And when Bob Nestor speaks, rule number 8 is people better listen. So glad to have such good leadership atop the pile here. Of course, right now, Bob Nestor from Lansdale, Pennsylvania, running in 13th position right now, chasing down Matt Mackin in the 01 Chevrolet. Our other, one of our other commissioners from the Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing, John Bawalda, running in 21st right now in his number 51 Jack Dow Motorsports Chevrolet. And, of course, the big commissioner, Chris Claude, commissioner of the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, airing over on Sim Racing Media and ESPN, working his way around Alexander Gangler now, as he is running in 22nd, of course, wrapped up in some of the kerfuffle earlier in this piece. So 73 laps complete, working our way to lap number 90, and then we will have 110 laps to go to the end. And right now, Bobby Blazer looking to the inside of Bennett Allen. This is something you don't see every day, as Bobby Blazer has to work for the lead, comes up and sees if he can brush Bennett Allen off, and Bennett Allen says, I don't think so, not so fast, my friend, as these two drivers ready to go out and hammer and tongs for the lead, as now the only thing left in their way before they set sail is Alexander Gangler in the number 82 Taylor Swift Toyota Supra. Gangler's going to stay high, as these two don't want anybody to get blood on their face after they get finished duking this piece out. .75 laps now, 76 complete here, as Bobby Blazer getting ready to put Corey Burkett down another lap at Dover Motor Speedway here. And now Bobby Blazer looking to the inside of John Bawalda in that Jack Dow Motorsports Chevrolet, and Chris Claude, as those two drivers holding on desperately for dear life to that lead lap, as that lead lap just evaporated from underneath them. Now Bawalda sticking it right in front of the 3 car. That can't make Bennett Allen very happy at all. We're about to see some fireworks here as Bennett Allen sticking to the inside of Bawalda. Bawalda not willing to give up any more track position, as he is now trying to hold on to the lucky dog position. Oh, and Chris Claude wrecks here. Oh my goodness, and we are just going to collect cars. Oh my. Chris Claude and Corey Burkett just get all kinds of mixed up together. Let's take a look back here, as we just happened to see this live which is, quite frankly, something that we don't see every day, because a lot of times we have to find it on the track. But this time, right in front of us, as we see Claude coming out of turn 3 and 4, and Burkett just comes up the track and sends Claude to spin. Burkett, of course, going to the inside wall. Now, Claude getting clobbered by the 59, and the 1 and the 9 of Jeff Carson also getting wrapped up in this. We'll see what happened and how Jeff Carson got wrapped up into that, because, something interesting here is it seems like Jeff Carson never of his own accord gets involved in things. And here he is yet again, not his fault overall. And we're going to see exactly what happened here. And we see Carson going to the inside. Really, he had no place to go. I mean, let's just take a look at this nice and slow as Carson comes out of turn 4. He's going high, but then he sees all of this mess down, and he sees the mess down low. And it's almost like he broke loose coming out of 4, and the car just took itself right into this pile, which now looks like a used car lot. So definitely something we didn't want to see tonight, as looks like Jeff Carson probably putting it on the hauler. And folks, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, of course, the rain delayed and then postponed to today broadcast of the NASCAR Cup Series at Dover Motor Speedway aired this afternoon in Delaware. And Chase Elliott coming out atop of everybody else who started in 4th, got himself up to 1st. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishes in 2nd, Ross Chastain in 3rd, Christopher Bell in 4th. Alex Bowman in 5th, Kyle Larson in 6th, Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher, that's a tough one, Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher, Kevin Harvick, and Eric Jones round out your top 10. I mean, these drivers obviously wanted to duke it out hard, and of course, after all the rain that they had in Delaware yesterday, was definitely a green racetrack that they were able to race from today. And I got to say, I'm not sure, but something tells me this might have been Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s best finish of the season. And, to be completely honest, and not to make it personal, but, maybe somebody can give me a thought here in the YouTube live chat. Is it just me, or does it seem like Ricky Stenhouse was never the same? He had done so well in the Xfinity series, of course, then the Nationwide series, but then started dating Danica Patrick, and it just kind of went sideways from there. I'm not sure. Is it like a curse, or maybe is it just bad juju? I don't know. But here on lap number 82, as we're working our way to lap 90, Bobby Blazer going to be sitting atop the pile as the pace car lights are out. The choose cone rule in effect. Bobby Blazer on the inside of Grant Thompson in the 14. Mike Wright and Michael Overstreet. Again, it almost looks like everybody just followed what iRacing told them to do. As, don't get me wrong, sometimes that's the easy way out. The iRacing.com pace car diving off to pit road as Bobby Blazer and Grant Thompson have control of this field. Blazer, of course, on the inside, gets the jump over Thompson. Thompson a little loose up there toward the wall in front of Michael Overstreet. And we are back underway with about 8 laps left of stage number 2 here as we're working our way toward lap number 90. You're watching Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series, brought to you by RS Button Boxes and Butt Kicker on the Independence Racing Network on YouTube.com, brought to you, presented by Northeastern Fire and Air. Glad to have you in with us tonight as we see Michael Overstreet working the inside of Grant Thompson here. Looks like he wants P2 to finish out stage 2, and not sure if he's going to take the patient approach here, if he is just going to go for it here on lap number 84. Chasing down Bobby Blazer, looks like side by side, crossing the start-finish line. Overstreet getting that inside line advantage over the 14 car of Grant Thompson, secures P2 away from him, but Thompson not ready to come back yet as Overstreet gets loose coming out of turn 2, going down the backstretch and allowing the door to reopen for Grant Thompson in the number 14 Toyota Supra. This pair of Toyotas leading, of course, your points leader, Mike Wright, and your Talladega winner last week in the number 38 Ford Mustang, as he is still fighting the inside of Grant Thompson, now chasing down Michael Overstreet, who has safely secured P2 away, as he is about 1.5 seconds behind Bobby Blazer and about 0.4 of a second ahead of Mike Wright. And if you're just tuning in to YouTube.com, I'm Dave Regal here at the microphone on the Independence Racing Network, brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air. And if you like hanging out with me on a Monday night, you'll like hanging out with myself and my partner in crime, Tony Trapasso, on a Tuesday night, so tomorrow night at 10:15 Eastern, as we call the Western States Racing League over on ESPN. Then on Wednesday, back by popular demand after they have clawed their way to where they are right now, the Way She Goes Racing League is returning to the ESPN airwaves with yours truly, Dave Regal, at the microphone, as they have reportedly asked for me specifically, and which I am humbled by and glad to do for them, as what a great group of racers there on a Wednesday night. So, folks, if Sunday with NASCAR Cup Series here on ESPN, or, the 3 car getting loose, getting down toward the wall, not sure if he was lifted by the 74, but now Kavaja Holt getting real tight against the 74. Here the battle for 5th and 6th. We can see Tim Trowbridge holding that line as we are now on lap 90. Of course, as soon as lap number 90 is complete and that 10th place car crosses the start-finish line, that will conclude the stage, as it looks like we will have at least a green flag run here to the end, unlike stage 1. There it is, as we should now have 90 laps complete. The caution comes out and the field is frozen. Bobby Blazer, your stage 2 winner. Michael Overstreet in P2 from stage 1 racing, driving the number 39 Toyota Supra. Mike Wright, your points leader, finishes 3rd in stage 2. Grant Thompson in 4th. Tim Trowbridge in 5th. Zac Osborne in 6th. Kavaja Holt in 7th. Jarrett Phillips in 8th. Dakota Cave in the number 2 Toyota Supra in 9th. And rounding out your top 10, getting bonus points here for stage number 2, is the 02 car, that Toyota Supra, driven by Joey Savatgy. So those cars all going to be earning bonus points in our season standings. And of course, folks, what I'm talking about is, depending on your finishing of a stage, you can be awarded bonus points. So first place gets 10 points, second place gets 9, and so on to 10th position, where you get 1 bonus point. So right now, looks like it's going to be wholesale pit stops as Bobby Blazer, Michael Overstreet, Mike Wright, and everybody through the field is going to come down. So while they all come down, we are going to step aside and take a break as we watch pit cycles begin. Well, folks, here on lap number 95, the pace car lights are out as we come out of turn 2. Restarting will be Bobby Blazer, Grant Thompson, Tim Trowbridge, Kavaja Holt, Dakota Cave, Jarrett Phillips, Zac Osborne, John Bawaldo III, and Joey Savatke, rounding out your top 10 here at Dover Motor Speedway in Dover, Delaware. And right now, Bobby Blazer has chosen the inside lane, so he will get as best of a jump as he thinks he's going to get. The iRacing.com pace car is down pit lane. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. And as we enter the Geico restart zone, we are back underway. Green flag racing at Dover Motor Speedway. Bobby Blazer gets himself out to about 0.2 of a second over Tim Trowbridge and Grant Thompson. Trowbridge now sliding in behind Thompson as we are about to go back single file here for a lot of the field. And I have to be honest, you may not think. And we have a car spinning on the backstretch as Bennett Allen looks like he has gotten wrapped up here. Going to take a look here at Bennett Allen as it looks like he just gets up into the 25, across the 25's nose, and spins helplessly down the backstretch. Gets it locked up, though, as it doesn't look like too many other folks involved in that. So they're in the early goings of Stage 3 as we are now headed for lap number 200 in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. These drivers working their tails off all night long. I mean, you know, all night long, we have seen several drivers who have basically, long story short, have basically been working very clean. And, a little bit of a kerfuffle there on pit road as there was a checkup, behind Bob Nestor, actually in front of Bob Nestor, as he didn't want to run into the car in front of him. There's a lot of drivers all night long who are basically trying to work through some of the hard things here at Dover Motor Speedway. But, overall, nothing crazy, nothing malicious, which is good to know. Again, like I had said earlier, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series is very toughly policed. Bob Nestor, who organizes this, put a lot of time and effort into this, and he wants to make sure that the product that you folks at home are getting to see is worthy of what's going on, on the track. So glad to have Bob there atop the pile from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. They're in the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra, and we'll get a shot here of him just in a second. There's the Bobster. Lansdale, Pennsylvania, driving that number 29 Toyota Supra. Glad to have him here in Monday Night NASCAR. So as we get restarted here, looks like Grant Thompson going to be atop the pile in P1, followed by Bobby Blazer in the number 90 Blue Oval Ford. Tim Trowbridge in third. Kavaja Holt in fourth. Dakota Cave rounding out your top five. Of course, Rebecca Miller's boy here in fifth position, driving the number 2 Toyota Supra. Jarrett Phillips in sixth. Zac Osborne in seventh. Brad Gunn in 8th, John Bawalda the 3rd in 9th, and Joey Savacki going to be the last driver here in your top 10. But close on his heels is Mr. Bob Nestor, driving that number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra. And if you are just joining us, make sure that you are subscribing and turning on those bell notifications to Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series exclusive broadcaster, the Independence Racing Network, as we are now about to cross the start-finish line. When we come back, we will be at exactly halfway through the total laps of this race when we take the green flag here that Grant Thompson will, as Grant is going to restart on the outside, which is different. But, hey, everybody kind of trying something different, and that's okay. Bobby Blazer, of course, on the inside. Tim Trowbridge on the outside of row 2 with Kavaja Holt in the 00 working the inside of row 2. But right now they're coming into the Geico restart zone. That flag stand waiver starts getting that arm out. The green flag flies. We are back green flag racing here on lap 101 of 200. Grant Thompson setting sail early, leaving Tim Trowbridge to duke it out with Bobby Blazer. And I got to tell you, if I was Bobby Blazer or Tim Trowbridge, I wouldn't want to see either one of them, no matter who I was, next to me, as both of those drivers extremely talented, working their way through the field. Of course, Kavaja Holt, Jarrett Phillips, Dakota Cave. Of course, Dakota Cave has to be our most popular driver in the YouTube live chat. Now everybody getting strung out single file, and it looks like John Bawalda, the only person willing to go side by side here, as the 0-2 of Joey Savacki gets around him. Looks like we do have a spinner on the backstretch, but no cautions. We are still under green and 3 wide now. Wisely going 2 wide as Bawalda backs back out, but it looks like he might try to go at it and get that hammer, that torch and pitchfork back out here on lap number 103 of 200. Piper Bain in our YouTube live chat saying, let's go Dakota. So looks like Dakota Cave has one of the larger contingencies of fans in our YouTube live chat. And folks, we hope that you get involved in the YouTube live chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Tell us what's on your mind. As, we're always glad to hear from different folks in the iRacing.com community in our YouTube live chat. In 2008, the second stage of the Monster Makeover took place here at Dover Motor Speedway. And during that stage, the Monster Monument, which is a 46-foot fiberglass structure, was built in the new Victory Plaza out front in the fan zone. And, well, let me tell you, what an interesting place that was. I mean, you walk up to Dover Motor Speedway in the front, and, Miles the Monster is looking down at you. He looks all fierce and whatnot and so on. And, you can check this out at any time. There's pictures of him everywhere. But, it's almost like a big fair, like a carnival almost out front with, toys and or rides and games and things like that, and all kinds of sponsorship tents and things to check out. Of course, team merch stores, and across the field, basically a flea market, to be completely honest. So really interesting. What a great experience over there in Dover, and I hope if you ever get the chance that you check it out, as John Bawalda, Bob Nestor, and I got to do over the weekend. And Dakota Cave running in 4th position right now. We see him running just behind Kavaja Holt in 3rd. So right now, this getting tighter and tighter in this battle for fourth. Tim Trowbridge, your new race leader in the number 74 Blue Oval Ford here on lap number 112 of 200 as he gets himself around Bobby Blazer. Looking ahead to next week, it will be throwback weekend as the Monday Night NASCAR, Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, and the Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks will all be heading to Darlington Speedway, Darlington Raceway down there in Darlington, South Carolina. And next week, of course, we will have the Mahindra Roxor 200 at Darlington. So we'll be going 147 laps next Monday night. And I sincerely, invite all of you to be there. And then, of course, May 16th, we may be off that week. At least it'll be a delayed production as, summertime, it's vacation time. So, we'll have a little bit of a recording going on, but we'll make sure that you folks get to see that race too. Taking a look at our schedule here coming up on Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series next week at Dover, this week at Dover, then the next week at Darlington. Then it looks like May 16th at Kansas Speedway. Like I said, that's going to be a delayed broadcast. And then finally, the last week in May there, the 22nd, Texas Motor Speedway. So busy month here of May in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. So make sure that you subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, let us know what's going on. And make sure that you're tuning in with us as we are about to be 3 wide as Corey Burkett could not get out of Timmy Trowbridge's way fast enough, and that was just enough to allow Bobby Blazer to close in just ever so slightly here on Tim Trowbridge. Bobby Blazer wrestling away the lead from Tim Trowbridge here on lap number 120 of 200 as we are closing out on 80 laps to go. These two have been going at it with torches and pitchforks all night long here on Monday Night NASCAR. We are going to step aside and hear from our good friends over at Buck Kicker and Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have, breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air. And we are back here at Dover Motor Speedway as it looks like Dakota Cave has now gotten into the dance here. Tim Trowbridge falling back as he has chosen to come down pit road on lap number 125 of 200. Not sure if he took some kind of damage or if he's just here on a regular stop. Right now, the only lead lap car coming into the pits, which leaves Bobby Blazer atop the pile with Kavaja Holt and Dakota Cave. As Dakota Cave looks like he is ready to start putting the moves on Kavaja to lift him out of the way and secure P2 for himself here as things are starting to wind down with now 75 laps to go of 200 on Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series. Things are starting to heat up here as it looks like Bob Nestor from Lansdale, Pennsylvania, and that number 29 Toyota Supra, sponsored by Relative Properties, is now going to be a lap down. And right now, as far as we stand, he is the first car lap down as Bobby Blazer, Kavaja Holt, and now Dakota Cave work past him. But right now, the man of the hour is going to be Dakota Cave as he has now gotten around the 0-2 of Joey Savacki and Mike Wright in the 38 as Dakota running in P3 right now, getting himself atop the, they're at the bottom step of the podium, but on the podium nonetheless. I'm sure that he's going to be working his tailpipe off all night to try to keep things interesting here, as now he and Kavaja Holt are going to be locked in a dead heat with only 0.2 of a second separating Kavaja and Dakota here on lap number 130 of 200. They come out of turn 4, and I got to be honest, if I was Kavaja right now, I would not want to look in my rearview mirror and see Dakota Cave there, as he is going to be one tough customer once he gets a little closer. And folks, right now we're going to run through the field, give you an update on what's going on here in Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series. Right now, the pride of York, Pennsylvania, Bobby Blazer, driving the number 90 Ford Mustang, sits atop the pile. Followed by Kavaja Holt in the 00 Ford. Followed by Kavaja Holt in the 00 Ford. Then Dakota Cave in the number 2 Toyota Supra running in third position. Mike Wright in the number 38 Blue Oval Ford in the fourth position. Joey Savatke rounding out your top five as we are basically three wide as John Bawalda. Oh, and we have now, of course, it seems like every time I get near John Bawalda, he is going three wide. Michael Overstreet running in sixth position right now. Jarrett Phillips and Brad Gunn running in seventh and eighth position. Ninth right now is Zac Osborne in the number 52 Toyota Supra, and Doug Argabright from, if I'm reading that correctly, I believe that's Los Angeles, and it is Doug Argabright from Los Angeles, California, in the number 98 running in 10th position right now. So things definitely have heated up quite a bit tonight. But your race leader, Bobby Blazer, blazing the way around Dover Motor Speedway. Mike Wright in the number 38. Oh, and we have a car wrecking on the front. Jarrett Phillips and John Bawalda getting into it. We'll take a look right here. And we see the 87. Oh, it looks like John Bawalda rubs the wall and comes down into the 87. So the two of them right here at the start-finish line making contact, which is a real shame because I'll tell you what, you know, the 87, of course, several laps down of Jarrett Phillips. Well, just one lap down, 2, 3, a little bit. But, you know, these drivers work their tails off week in and week out. And to have your night ruined like that is really upsetting. I mean, I went through that last night in Monday and Sunday Night Cup Series, but you see Bobby Blazer coming down pit road, as well as Kavaja Holt, Dakota Cave, Mike Wright, Joey Savatke, Michael Overstreet, Brad Gunn, Doug Argabright, Matthew Helm, Zac Osborne in the number 52 Toyota Supra, and Justin Steves of Stage 1 Racing coming down. Bob Nestor, Chad Sanner, Timmy Trowbridge, Alexander Gangler, all staying out, which is an interesting call here. But looks like everybody trying to get... This might be close to the money stop, as we're going to take a look right now at Zac Osborne in the number 52 car. Right now, Zac is up just 3 positions from where he started, so glad to see him making some progress tonight. But unfortunately, you know, hasn't made it all the way up here toward the front. Who has made it up toward the front? Bobby Blazer in the number 90 Blue Oval Ford Mustang here, as he sits just in front of Dakota Cave, our what has to be the most popular driver in our YouTube live chat, as Piper Bain and Rebecca Miller just going at it to support them. Of course, Jack Dowell Motorsports driver number 51, John Bawalda, just involved in this most recent wreck that brought out the caution. So he can't be too happy, but we do know that Jack Dowell Motorsports always glad to support their drivers every time we are racing, whether it's Sunday night for Cup Series, here on Monday night for Xfinity Series, or on Tuesday nights for the Thunder Trucks. Of course, the Thunder Trucks headed up by John Bawalda, the Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks commissioner. And, you know, John, a United States veteran himself, has given so much to this country, so we are glad to be able to give a little something back to him in the form of, some good competitive racing here on Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, brought to you live on the Independence Racing Network, presented by, of course, Northeastern Fire and Air. The iRacing.com pace car has dove down pit road, which means that we're about to be back green flag racing here at Dover Motor Speedway. Bobby Blazer getting the jump as he has the last two times over Kavaja Holt and Mike Wright. Of course, these cars, including Dakota Cave and the number 2 Toyota Supra, stringing themselves out all single file. And I have to be honest, at this stage of the race, we've had some really good green flag runs, but to see all these cars single file basically all the way back through the field, back to Tim Trowbridge, I mean, that means that these drivers are patient and working on each other one at a time, as you don't see too much side-by-side action right up until someone's ready to make a move. Of course, as I say that, looks like Mike Wright looking to the inside of Kavaja Holt for P2, and while we're there, looks like Dakota Cave going to try to pick off Kavaja also as they go down the front stretch, cross the start-finish line. Dakota has the edge going into turn 1, and as they roll through turn 1 and he gets ready to pick up that throttle going into turn 2 for the exit here, looks like Kavaja is still going to have the edge, but just as I say that, looks like Chris Gore Sr. has gotten it all wrong somewhere here on the racetrack. We're going to take a look. And we see Chris Gore in the number 89 getting ready to go into turn 3. And we just see the back of the car break loose. And he noses into the wall and just takes that right to the face. "147 laps of 200 complete tonight here at Dover Motor Speedway." Bobby Blazer sitting atop the pile. Of course, Bobby Blazer currently sitting at the beginning of this race in second position in our season standings, 59 points behind Mike Wright. Of course, Mike Wright, oddly enough, this is, if you look at our standings right now, Bobby Blazer sits atop the pile tonight in P1. He sits P2 in our standings. Then Mike Wright sitting P2 tonight is P1 in our season standings. Dakota Cave running in fourth position right now at Dover Motor Speedway. In third place in season standings, Bob Nestor, 14 points behind Dakota Cave in fourth position in our season standings. And John Bawalda III, 12 points behind Nestor, rounding out the top 5 of the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series standings. And these drivers all working their tails off to make it work throughout the season. And we're just glad to have a great field come out every week. As, we've had 31 cars take the green flag tonight. And currently looks like at least 24 of them back out on the track. In fact, 22 of them out on track. So glad to have at least 22 of these drivers who originally started out on track. And just as we get ready to go back for another green flag hit here, we are going to hear from our good friends over at Butt Kicker.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series here on iRacing.com, YouTube.com. Make sure that you turn on those bell notifications and subscribe to the Independence Racing Network. Glad to have you in with us tonight, and thank you for being with us tonight. And, I have to say, this has been quite a race so far as Bobby Blazer sits atop the pile, but Dakota Cave, Kavaja Holt, and Michael Overstreet have all been lurking. Your biggest mover tonight is Michael Overstreet in the number 39 Toyota Supra, of course, from Stage 1 Motorsports in the Discord channel here for Monday Night NASCAR. Sounds like Josh Ward out here on track again. And quite frankly, I believe it looks like he's driving a modified race car, as he's got no front end and he just needs to get about 20 laps in to get that -1 as we are under choose cone conditions. The pace car lights are off and we'll get ready to go back. Green flag racing. iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. Bobby Blazer getting ready to go back green here. Enters the Geico restart zone and takes off like a crack of a bat from a baseball. And I'll tell you what, gets about 0.4 of a second over Mike Wright and Kavaja Holt, as these two drivers going to be going at it hammer and tongs out of turn 2. And while they're going at it in front of them, looks like Dakota Cave has got a torch and a pitchfork going after these two drivers, as he will not be put to bed early tonight. And I'm pretty sure that his mom over here, Rebecca Miller, in the YouTube live chat, has no problem with him staying up, especially when he's staying up here in the top 4. And, these drivers, this top 4 tonight, they have all been running together with next to no problem. The only driver that's missing from that top pile of cars is Timmy Trowbridge, who's now down 8 positions, who, of course, had qualified on the pole. Running right now in 9th position, just ahead of Doug Argabright, rounding out the top 10. Doug Argabright in the number 98 Toyota, leading ahead of Matthew Helm, who had gotten himself scuffed up earlier in this race. So, this is one of those races where we see things shifting around, not too drastically, but just enough that the usual suspects sitting atop the pile always going to be here, and glad to have these now Monday Night NASCAR regulars bringing you folks some of the best racing on the iRacing.com servers that we can find. Taking a look right now at the 0-2 of Joey Savacki chasing down Michael Overstreet in the number 39 Toyota. There's 4 Toyotas in a row between Dakota Cave, Michael Overstreet, Joey Savacki, and Zac Osborne. And these drivers here from 4th back through 7th, all duking it out pretty heavy here. And speaking of getting hot and heavy, Kavaja Holt, it looks like there's 3 blue ovals for the Fords, then 4 Toyotas, another Ford. Not a whole lot of Chevrolets up atop the pile, which is kind of interesting as we don't see a Chevrolet until Brad Gunn in 9th position driving the number 36 Chevrolet. So something that's a little unusual, but not completely unheard of. It's just strange to have so many Chevrolets. You know, of course, Dover tied to Chevrolet and General Motors. You know, of course, here in Delaware, home of DuPont and, you know, all of its 47 other words that make up DuPont. Of course, DuPont being the brainchild and the money that generated General Motors back in the early part of the 20th century. Basically kind of built right here in Delaware. So something to think about historically, as just as I say that, it looks like the 0-2 of Joey Savacki chasing down Michael Overstreet. I think Michael Overstreet owes him some lunch money, and Joey Savacki is ready to cash in. But just as we look ahead of Michael Overstreet, Dakota Cave in the number 2 Toyota Supra being cheered on by Piper Bain and Rebecca Miller. He is getting ready to close in on Kavaja Holt one more time for P3. Looks like Timmy Trowbridge here just got a little bit of contact. We're going to run that back and take a look. That was something that's uncharacteristic of Tim. As we're going to see him right here in the middle of your screen working the inside of the 0-2. The 0-2 comes down on top of Tim Trowbridge. And because we can see Tim going into the turn, we don't have... So far, we don't have a yellow flag as those two drivers are able to get it back together. Tim Trowbridge running in 6th, the 0-2 in 8th. Dakota Cave in 4th, Kavaja Holt in 3rd, Mike Wright in 2nd, and your race leader, and currently in danger, Bobby Blazer. Bobby Blazer just 0.14 seconds ahead of Mike Wright, as the battle for the lead has now heated up to boiling here on lap number 166 of 200 as we are closing in on that checkered flag tonight at Dover Motor Speedway in Delaware. Bobby Blazer leading Mike Wright down the back stretch and into turn 3 as Bobby Blazer really not, here's the thing. He's not gaining on Mike Wright. Mike Wright's not gaining on him. So they're just kind of keeping that same distance. And I'll tell you what, Mike Wright, the kind of driver that I have seen time and time again here, week in and week out on Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing, just lurking. As long as he knows, and he's probably, I got to be honest, he's probably not even running full throttle, as he at this point is just toying with Bobby Blazer. Is Bobby Blazer going to be running the wheels off of this piece? We'll take a look here at his dashboard. Blazer running 142 miles per hour, dropping down to about 140 through the turn, picking it back up coming out of the exit. And, you know, at this stage in the race, we're going to start to get a little nervous as we see those laps ticking down. We'll go into his... And we're going to go out here to the number 25 car. See what... I hear something on race radio, something going on here with the 25. And we see the 25 of Matthew Helm chasing down Doug Argabright. And I got to be honest, I'm not saying it's ugly. I'm not saying it's dirty. But it's certainly not the cleanest thing I've seen all night as we see him set up here toward the inside, slides up, mostly because it looks like he gets tight. And just gets around the 36 car of Brad Gunn. But I wouldn't say that that was malicious. It was more a matter of he was definitely faster and just needed to find a way to get around. And unfortunately, the only way that he thought he could get around was to bump the heck out of his rear there. So right now, 173 laps of 200 complete. We're about to start ticking down this final stage pretty quickly as Bobby Blazer still just 0.2 of a second ahead of Mike Wright. So we do see that he is starting to build that lead a little bit, but not too much as he is only 0.2 off. Dakota Cave, don't look now, but your mom, Rebecca Miller, is telling you that we need a win. So apparently she thinks that prize money is coming home to her, which, of course, let's just assume that you still live with your parents. I mean, definitely should be paying some rent if you're going to be making moves like this and beating the brakes off of these drivers here around Dover Motor Speedway. Bobby Blazer and Mike Wright starting to heat up here as they get around what looks to be the 51 car of John Bawalda III. Bobby Blazer still trying to work ahead of him, just 0.2 of a second. So he has grown that lead incrementally, but nothing that would, my opinion, nothing that would cause anything drastic to happen here as we take a look from the chopper running on the inside this drone cam that we have. Bobby Blazer and Mike Wright running down into turns 1 and 2. They make their way toward the back stretch as Kavaja Holt now getting ready to roll out of the back stretch. And we see him going down here into turn 3. These drivers have kept their composure basically all night. I have to say that I've been impressed from stem to stern with the way that these drivers have handled themselves. And, you know, like I had said before, it's almost as if, you know, like last night, there were no cautions that were caused by a whole lot of heavy contact. It started with self-spins and things like that. So nothing out of something awful. Bob Nestor allowing Chad Sanner here on lap number 180 of 200. Allowing Chad Sanner to get by as Sanner is now chasing down Justin Steves, Bob Nestor's teammate. Brad Gunn running in 12th position. Zac Osborne in 11th. Matt Mackin in 10th. Matthew Helm in 9th. Doug Argabright, Joey Savatke, and Tim Trowbridge up here in 6th. And now we get to your top 5. Michael Overstreet, Dakota Cave, Kavaja Holt, Mike Wright, and Bobby Blazer. And don't look now, fans, but Bobby Blazer growing that lead over Mike Wright as they went down the backstretch to 0.3 of a second. But, of course, Mike Wright able to get a run on him going back toward turn 3. And right now, Bobby Blazer looking to put Bob Nestor and Chad Sanner another pair of laps down here as we are now at 19 laps to go from Dover Motor Speedway. We are going to step to the side and hear from our good friends over at Butt Kicker and Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have, breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air. "15 laps to go now here at Dover Motor Speedway. Your race leader, Bobby Blazer, atop the pile, leading Mike Wright. And Mike Wright's starting to close in now on Bobby Blazer as there is now 0.16 seconds between Bobby Blazer and Mike Wright. Of course, the two of them are holding about 2.5 seconds over Kavaja Holt and Dakota Cave. Of course, between Kavaja and Dakota, there's about 1.5 seconds. You know, and here's the thing. These drivers now mixed up here in lap traffic. I mean, you know, in so many races we see things getting all kinds of tied up. And here we are with a late caution. John Bawalda getting himself tied up here. Gonna take a look and see what happened. And we see John Bawalda just getting into the wall. And, you know, all night long, I have seen a lot of netcode going on here, something that I generally have not seen in this kind of quantity all season long here. So something to keep in mind, especially as netcode always a pain in the butt for every iRacer, especially when you don't think that you're going to be making contact. Of course, folks, what I'm talking about is iRacing has software built into it to anticipate when contact between two cars is going to be made. Of course, usually it's calculated enough where it doesn't happen until those two cars physically make contact, or virtually make contact in this sense. But, you know, sometimes that algorithm is a little bit wide, and it winds up over-calculating and getting a little over-anxious. Speaking of over-anxious, nobody worried right now about making it to the end, as Mike Wright, Bobby Blazer, Kavaja Holt, Dakota Cave, Tim Trowbridge, Matt Mack, and Joey Savacki, Matthew Helm, Doug Argabright, Michael Overstreet, and Justin Steves all coming down pit road for service. So this is more than just the money stop. This is a quick check for tires, as I'm betting dollars to donuts, as Grandpa Evans would say, that these drivers counting on a late caution, if not a green-white checker. And, folks, just as an update, Rebecca Miller in the live chat. Obviously, Rebecca's listening pretty closely. Dakota and his girlfriend Piper, so Piper Bain cheering on Dakota Cave. Turns out that they do have their own place, so he doesn't live too far, though. So obviously tonight's prize winnings would be going all to Dakota and Piper. And, to be completely honest, seems like Piper is paying close attention tonight to what Dakota's doing here on YouTube.com on the Independence Racing Network. But, I know that there's a lot of women who allow their boyfriends and husbands, significant others, to spend some time out here in the iRacing.com servers. So we always want to be tipping our cap to them, as many of these women feel more like an iRacing widow come race night. So, especially for those of us that are racing, Sundays, Monday, Tuesday, here in the Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing, or for those of us that are broadcasting, sometimes you're racing on Sunday, then broadcasting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, occasionally a Thursday. I mean, there's a lot of women out there who are basically iRacing widows, and we appreciate the support and the love that those women share with us. And, we certainly wouldn't be here without them, because behind every successful iRacer is a woman rolling her eyes. Ten laps to go here at Dover Motor Speedway in Dover, Delaware. Of course, Delaware, the first state that ratified the Constitution to become a member of this union. Of course, Delaware, one of those states that we kind of take for granted. I mean, now granted, the President of the United States, Joe Biden, from Delaware, but even he takes Delaware for granted, as he has also claimed, Scranton as his home. So not really sure where he's from, whether it's Scranton or Delaware. But regardless, it's still kind of cool for a little state like Delaware to lay claim to having President of the United States. And, of course, an amazing racetrack here in Dover. As Bobby Blazer takes the green flag, crosses the start-finish line. We have 9 laps to go now in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series race here at Dover Motor Speedway. These drivers taking off, and I got to tell you, folks, Bobby Blazer and Mike Wright atop the pile. Bobby Blazer has probably gotten the biggest gap between himself and Mike Wright that I've seen all night at 0.3 of a second. But unfortunately, Dakota K falling back to 6th position right now, as he was just up in 3rd. And Piper Bain says she loves watching him do his thing here, and he has the most supportive mom you've ever met. So, and a caution here as Joey Savacki has wrecked himself here. And we're going to see what happened. Now we can see Savacki here in the O2, as it looks like he gets himself spun out. The 52 just comes around and clips the rear there of the O2 and sends him down into the wall. And then something else had happened here with Chad Sanner. And it looks like Sanner... So 2 separate things that happened. Chad Sanner coming out of turn 2 checks up because he was trying to avoid, and then Bob Nestor just getting into his rear. So something that we never really like to see, but it happens from time to time. That's racing. No harm, no foul, and I know both of those drivers, and they're both really good guys. So I'm sure that's a no harm, no foul. Sorry, man, didn't mean to be there. So with 6 laps to go, Bobby Blazer, the leader here tonight, and Mike Wright and Tim Trowbridge in third. Kavaja Holt, Michael Overstreet, Dakota Cave, Zac Osborne, Doug Argabright, and Matt Mackin with Matthew Helm rounding out your top 10. With 6 laps to go, this is definitely getting down to the wire here, as just about every race that we ever see on iRacing, it seems like the beginning of a race looks kind of hairy. Then we have a nice long green flag run somewhere in the middle of a race, and then the end usually gets littered with cautions, as we should have a natural green-white checker when we go green with 3 to go. iRacing.com pace car lights are off. That means that we will have 3 to go when we come back green, as the choose cone rule has been taken care of this time around, and we get ready to go down the backstretch with 4 laps to go under caution. The field is coming into turn 3 here, as the iRacing.com pace car looks to dive down pit road. Bobby Blazer on the inside, Mike Wright on the outside. A natural green-white checker coming for you right now. Crossing the start-finish line, we are green flag racing as Bobby Blazer takes off over top of Mike Wright, chased down by Tim Trowbridge here in third. And it looks like Tim and Kavaja Holt going to be going at it hammer and tongs right now, as Tim Trowbridge holding off. Oh, man. Kavaja Holt goes sideways, manages to save it almost. And we are now under caution as Kavaja now collects what looks to be about 4 and 5 other cars here, as we will now go into NASCAR overtime, and we will explain that when we come back. In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today, and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Dover Motor Speedway. As Kavaja Holt had gotten sideways there as he was doing battle here in the closing laps of the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series 200 at Dover Motor Speedway. Bobby Blazer sits atop the pile, followed by Mike Wright, Tim Trowbridge, Michael Overstreet, and Zac Osborne rounding out your top five. Right now, we're getting ready to commence with NASCAR Overtime. Of course, NASCAR Overtime, pretty simple, folks. Once we go back green, the green flag is going to wave. We will race around for the white flag. If something happens between the time the green flag waves and the white flag waves, we will freeze the field and start all over again. However, if after racing around for the white flag and the white flag does wave, then we will come back around and race to the checkered flag. The next flag, whether it's yellow or checkered between the white flag and the checkered flag, will end the race. So, of course, what we're gunning for right now is to have a nice clean restart and get through these final 3 laps relatively unscathed as the iRacing.com pace car leads the field as these drivers getting themselves all set for NASCAR Overtime. And as the iRacing.com pace car crosses the start-finish line, we should see those pace car lights turn off. And we're going to see if we can get a good look for that. As we do see those lights are off, we're going to take a look here at Bobby Blazer in the cockpit. And you know what? Actually, because I know that we've been talking about him all night, as he does have the best cheering section in Monday Night NASCAR. Taking a look at Dakota Cave here in his number 2 Toyota Supra. What a cool helmet he's got here. Looks like Alien. And as we look around here on the inside of the car, getting everything set, looks like Dakota going to be restarting in 6th position on the outside. Let's see if this is the last time we have to wait for the green flag to wave as Bobby Blazer takes off. Yet again, Tim Trowbridge and Mike Wright going to be going at it side by side here into turns 1 and 2. Once again, Trowbridge on the low side, fighting off Mike Wright the best that he can. Now Michael Overstreet getting ready to come in and dance as Bobby Blazer gets ready to go into turn 3 and 4 one more time. Right now he is holding his breath, waiting for that white flag to fly, and it does. So we are going to race all the way back for the checkered flag. The next flag will win this race as we see Michael Overstreet challenging Tim Trowbridge for P3 as we get ready to go down the backstretch and into turn 3. It looks like Overstreet not going to have enough to get around Trowbridge, as Trowbridge going to hold his ground here. And they are close dangerously to touching as Trowbridge able to hold off Michael Overstreet for P3, but Bobby... Not exactly sure what just happened with OBS Studio. Folks, if you are watching us on YouTube, there was some kind of a hiccup in the OBS Studio, which is, of course, the software that we use to bring you all of our races here on YouTube.com. But my computer just notifying me of some kind of a disconnect. Right now, waiting for our drivers who finished on the podium to come in here to the broadcast booth. And just as we're waiting for Bobby Blazer, we're going to get a hold of Tim Trowbridge here in the broadcast booth. Tim Trowbridge, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother? Hey, man, listen, heck of a race tonight. Of course, you start P1 there, but you know, got to be honest, you were going at it hammer and tongs for most of this race tonight, man. Hey, listen, host or not, you've got the absolute best outlook there. Is, you still did finish on the podium, not the end of the world. But next week we're looking forward, of course, to Darlington. Are you going to be running a throwback paint scheme for Darlington next week? Yeah, Darlington, definitely one of the most interesting shaped tracks and interesting tracks overall in the NASCAR circuit. What are you feeling as far as outcome there? All right, brother man, listen, we're going to cut you loose, but we appreciate you. Congratulations on that podium finish tonight. That was Tim Trowbridge, of course. Next up here, we have Mike Wright, driver of the number 38 Blue Oval Ford Mustang from Greensboro, North Carolina. Mike Wright, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy. Every day's a new adventure here at the Independence Racing Network. Listen, great finish tonight. I mean, you didn't gain any spots. You didn't lose any spots, At the same time, it really would have been cool for you to finish P1, of course, but how are you doing up there trying to fight off?
Then we caught that caution, and I knew it was just going to kind of be whoever got the launch on the restart. And we got a really good one there on the last one, and off of 2 he got a little loose, and I checked up not to spin him, and that probably took the chance to get beside him, but I'd rather us both finish instead of end up on the hook. So overall eventful but good.
Absolutely. And listen, I do apologize. I did have Discord muted on the broadcast as a couple of folks could not hear Tim Trowbridge. So I am going to quick bring him back up here. Tim Trowbridge, Dave Regal, and Mike Wright up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy again?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, listen, I made a mistake. I had Discord muted. One last thing for both of you. Tim, I want to start with you. Anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to tonight and thank for this podium finish?
Oh, no worries. Obviously, got to give a shout to you guys in the broadcast booth. Always put on a heck of a show. Can't wait to watch it back and to see how it went. Give a shout to all the SNN crew, Chris and Robert and John and all them putting the show together, letting us do this. My team, Imperial Motorsports, and as always, the girlfriend to let me do this crazy stuff this late at night.
Oh, trust me, I know the feeling. I was talking earlier about the girlfriends and the wives out there that let us do this every night. We've got some iRacing widows here, but always appreciating them.
Oh, yes.
And Mike Wright, anybody that you would like, we do want to thank Tim Trowbridge. Mike Wright, anybody that you want to thank and give a tip of the cap to tonight?
I just got Larry, my guy, doing the spotting and kind of race calling as we're going on, and otherwise it's two-man show tonight, and we do what we could.
All right, man. Well, listen, we're going to cut you loose. I appreciate you, and congratulations on that P2 finish.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have Bobby Blazer, your race winner from York, Pennsylvania. Bobby Blazer, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, listen, great run tonight as you came up 5 spots to finish atop the pile. I mean, you were going at it hammer and tongs all night with half the field, it felt like. So how was that set up for you?
It was good. I think that I was just talking to Tim. This is a track where the setup matters in qualifying, but when it gets down to the race, if you're not saving tires, you might as well not even pay for a setup. You might as well just use a stock one and put some tape on it. So I think it's more of a saving tires type of track more than setup. But you need to have a decent setup, I would say, to be able to save tires. You don't want to be too tight and have to push, or be too loose and sliding around. So I appreciate the setup that I have, but I think it's more of a tire saving track than people give it credit for.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, tonight you were absolutely the master at that as you were able to keep up there all night long. I mean, one of the interesting things, and I'm sure that you knew it coming into tonight, but Mike Wright sat atop the leaderboard on season points where you were in P2 about 59 points behind him, but now you finish ahead of Mike Wright. Not sure if you have the most laps led, but you've definitely got a lot of them led. So I'm thinking we're going to see either that gap between yourself and Mike Wright tighten up, or even better, Mike Wright now being P2 and you being P1 again in the season standings. You've been duking it out all season, brother. I mean, you are a heck of a driver.
Well, I appreciate the compliments. I don't think that. I think that iRacing is something that you put in what you get out of it. I've invested more money than I ever wanted into this thing. I've invested a lot more time than I think I would be wanting to even know. And that's just what it comes down to. I don't think that I'm necessarily better than anybody else. Literally, it's a lap car could have got loose and hit me. You know, I could have got loose and wrecked myself. There's a million things that could have happened. But once you've done, I ran, I don't know, 5 or 6 B opens when it was at Dover last week. And that's kind of when I put the practice in and kind of get an idea of what's going to happen here. So I don't want to. I just think it's more of a practice thing than like a skill thing. You're not born with a skill to iRace. It's it's just something you just got to work at, I guess. And like I said, it's more of just a tire saving thing. And I've enjoyed duking it out with everybody this season so far. It's really good racing. Dover is not an easy track, especially when you deal with lap traffic and the tires are getting worn down and all that. So I think that there's so many things that got to fall in your way as well that I'd rather be lucky than good. So I appreciate the way Mike raced me tonight. There, out of turn 2 on the last lap, he could have absolutely violated me and put me and him both in a bad spot going into turn 3, but he let off and he didn't have to do that. So I very much appreciate him for racing me that way. And it's everybody I've raced with in this league has been solid, so I appreciate that just as much as the compliments of my quote ability. It's all about who you're racing with and all that. So Mike was keeping up with me before that caution came out. I was really getting worried, man. I had a set sort of lap time I wanted to run, so I knew that I was saving tires, and dude was not getting away from me. So I think honestly, he would be talking to you in this position if a caution would have came out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, you held it together really well tonight. Absolutely professional job from stem to stern, and glad to have you with us tonight. So, anybody that you would like to give a tip of the cap to and thank for the night?
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank EE Sports, my team. I'd like to thank Adrenaline Spike Design, doing a little something different tonight with a matte black paint scheme. I'm excited for next week. I have a throwback scheme I'm going to run that I'm very excited for and have been really excited about. Shout out to everybody that runs this league. I say it every week that I get to talk to y'all. It's not easy to run full-length races on Monday and Tuesday. Hold fair races Mondays, Tuesdays, Sundays. Everybody has to be within a box, and if somebody ever steps out of that box, you guys don't play around and let that slide. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to host a league at all. So I very much appreciate y'all for hosting this event. And every week you come in here in the booth and spend 2 or 3 hours talking and broadcasting what we're doing. So I very much appreciate everybody involved. And like I said, I'm so happy with the racing in this league. I think that we started with 30 cars. That's for a league that runs weekly full Xfinity races and open setups. You don't see that. So I'm just glad that this is a league that people want to be in, and there's a standard of racecraft that is expected here, and it's abided by very, very, very well. So I very much appreciate that, and what Bob and Chris and you, and I'm sure others that I'm not even sure that are admins, that they put the work in as well. So I appreciate everybody that does that.
Hey man, listen, we appreciate you, and I mean that's what keeps me coming back into the booth every week. I know that's what keeps Bob, toiling week in and week out as we try to make things. There's always fine tuning. There's always that one other thing that you can be doing to make something better. So glad that we can put all that together, and I'm glad to be part of it myself. So, listen, man, congratulations on that win tonight. You get out there and celebrate with a couple of donuts here as we get ready to take a look at the rest of the field, man. Congratulations, Bob.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, folks, that was quite a race tonight here at Dover Motor Speedway, and we're going to take a quick look at the final results here. Of course, sitting atop the pile, Bobby Blazer in the number 90 Ford, followed by Mike Wright, Tim Trowbridge, Michael Overstreet, Zac Osborne, Dakota Cave, Joey Savacki, Doug Argabright in the number 98 Toyota Supra, Brad Gunn, and Chad Sanner round out your top 10. Matthew Helm, Justin Steves, Bob Nestor, John S. Bawalda III, Ian Humphreys, Matt Mackin, and Alexander Gangler here in your top 17. Kavaja Holt, Zachary Vaughn, Aaron Mack, Chris Gore Sr., Chris Claude, Jarrett Phillips, Grant Thompson, and Josh Ward finishes out your top 25 with Bennett Allen, Corey Burkett, Jeff Carson, JB Banner, Carlos Ramos, and Jackson Derby finishing everything out here. And I'll tell you what, folks, here at the Independence Racing Network, we're always glad to be bringing you some of the best iRacing that there is. I mean, the Monday Night NASCAR crew that you just watched race these 200 laps at Dover Motor Speedway, these are some of the best drivers that you're going to find anywhere on iRacing.com. Yes, we had some cautions tonight. They were nuisance cautions, but there's nothing ever malicious. And Bobby Blazer articulated that perfect as, they don't put up with the extra drama in these three leagues, between Cup, Xfinity, and Trucks. And just as a quick reminder, Sunday Night NASCAR's Cup Series is aired over on Sim Racing Media and ESPN on a Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Of course, tonight, the Xfinity Series exclusively aired here on the Independence Racing Network at 9 p.m. And then finally on Tuesday nights, the Premier Motor Network over at 9 p.m. brings you the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck. So we are glad to be one big happy family of broadcasts, and we're glad that everybody can be spread around and shared with here. So next week, looking at Darlington Throwback Weekend, as we're going to see some really cool paint schemes, and we're going to make sure that we go through each and every one of those next week. at Darlington, South Carolina. And for everybody here in our Conshohocken, Pennsylvania studios at the Independence Racing Network, I'm Dave Regal, and glad to have you with us tonight. So thank you very much. And folks, as you go through your day tomorrow, just remember, take one moment and enjoy it. Good night, everybody.